Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus and today I'm doing a walkthrough/playthrough of Impression, which is the latest game by A-Games, who brought us games like Sakura, Avaroma and Prehistory, and I believe I covered those all on my channel. So yeah, they were kind enough to provide me this review copy, so as usual, take everything I say with a pinch of salt. It's a prototype, so yeah, you may see some unfinished components, or maybe some of the things may change during the campaign or with the final product, as usual. This game is all about printing press, Gutenberg, and all these kind of things. Really an intriguing topic for me. I live nearby Mainz actually, but my city is much bigger than Mainz. Haha, and they're on the wrong side of the River Rhine, by the way, anyway. And yeah, so I'm really excited to give this one a try. And yeah, let's see how things go, shall we? Okay, and here we are. This is the setup for the two-player game, and sorry if everything looks a little bit different and sounds a little bit different. I had to record this video in my other studio, aka the living room. So if anything is different, blame it on the living room. There is already a lot of variability in this game. So this street board here is something that you pretty much randomly seed at the start of each game. So that's obviously for the two-player game. I think for a three-player game, we might have 3 more tiles, and in a 4-player game, you have the whole board at your disposal. There are a lot more tiles available to that, but those are always the tiles that come with a two-player game. We both start here in Mainz, so blue and red. In this case, blue is the starting player. It doesn't really matter too much. Here are some factories. Over here we have the tech board, so here we have technologies. Up there we have trade tiles. Here we have I think it's a typesetting board. I'm kind of misusing it. Usually you keep your resources here, but we really used it to basically store all those orders and contracts here, and on top of this also the letters, obviously, that you need to place later on your boards. Again, there are a lot of moving parts in this one, so a lot of tiles, a lot of extra tiles, a lot of letters, a lot of trade tiles, but again, I come to those in a second, or basically explain you the game as I go. All the player boards are also unique as far as I could tell, so they all play a little bit differently. So here we have something that is, let's say, the factory line, or that's your shop where you can place technologies or factory on this. This is the composing stick. This is where you place your letters. They also come with different kind of setup, so every player has some different kind of advantage. The same is true for the benefits here for your director as soon as you start moving him. And I believe those should be more or less the same as far as I can tell. But again, there is a lot of randomness to the game in respect to the setup, not in respect on how you play it. So a lot of things will look different to you. So these city tokens here, there's a whole bag with more of those. I could be even double as much of those, and you also put those out completely randomly. So again, there's really a lot of replayability that comes with the game, but there are also a lot of moving parts. Obviously, we are playing or fighting for victory points. Those are being tracked. No, on this board up here, not quite sure what a good result is. Again, I played it a couple of times. I really am far from considering myself a master in this game, because again, it has a lot of moving parts. And the game ends once all those order tiles have run out. So in a two-player game, you remove a bunch of those. I think they come in 4 different stages, and from each stage you remove 5 tiles. I believe there are 4 in each of those. Right now in a 3-player game you remove some a little bit less than that. But again, when this is basically completely gone and there's nothing to refill, then this will trigger the end of the game. Then we get some, call it bonus actions. You can still do stuff with things you have collected so far, and then you pretty much tally up your score, and whoever has the most victory points can call himself Gutenberg or so. I don't know. Again, as usual, I explain you everything as I go. Again, blue is the starting player, so he has this order tile here, which tells you, first of all, yes, you are first. And you also got 2 steps. What those 2 steps means, I explain you in a second. The second player in a 2-player game has this tile here. second, and moving only one space. But again, I will explain that to you once we get there. As part of setup, we have to place our tradesmen into the city district here. And this pretty much tells you how many resources you start the game with. So you don't get, I don't know, a fixed amount of money and or resources. No, it's totally up to you. As blue is first, blue has to make the first choice of the game. And I think, having money is definitely something that's critical, but also having those resources can be relatively critical too. So I think blue will start with this. These shops here, though, this tile here is a shop, and this is really a nice board which comes with some, I really like this, so I always like these elevated kind of recessed kind of boards. Those shops come with two rooms. There's a lower room or bottom room and a top room. We start the game in the bottom room because again, this only allows you later on in the shop phase to move your tradesmen out. But again, I come to that in a second. So what will happen here right now is blue will pretty much gain one paper resource and would start the game with 1 gold. Luckily, we still have a second one, but next it's red. So let's grab this paper here and put it next here to the blue player's player board. And on top of that, he gets a coin. The game comes with normal cardboard coins. They look pretty generic, so I'm playing with my metal coins here. So those do not come with a prototype or with a game. Not sure if there will be a pledge level which gives you custom coins. I don't know, but I will play with my custom metal coins here today. Next it's red, and because she's second, she can now place 2 of her tradesmen in a row. So I get the first and the last placement of this placement. Again, this is still part of setup, kind of. And that's interesting. I believe she may really want to place her worker down there, getting extra work power or energy or whatever it is, or getting some extra paper up here. But I think she will go for resources like crazy. So she will go with 2 lead. We will place it next to her player board. She still has her second tradesman to play, so she could now do the same thing again, or she could do a mixture of both. She cannot go to the same room, at least not as part of setup. And I think actually getting even more lead could be beneficial because there's an order tile she's interested in. So I think, yeah, let's play it like this. So she will place this one here. So this means she gets another lead, put it next to her player board. And on top of that, she also will collect a coin. At the start of the game, money is incredibly rare. It's really tough, but later on you usually manage to get something, which might be the reason for blue now getting, maybe simply 2 coins. Yeah, why not? So we will place blue here, which means blue will get 2 more coins. And yes, those coins do look lovely. And that's pretty much the end of the setup. Everything else, again, is now part of the action phase. And that's what we are doing right now. And we will stick to this board. So now we are doing our shop phase, which means we are now moving and using our tradesmen. Again, blue is the starting player. And now you see the steps will matter. So blue now has to move 2 spaces with a tradesman. If he doesn't want to move the full amount, he can spend energy, which is pretty tracked tracked on his player board. But right now we only start with 1 energy and we need this for a potential later production phase. So I'm not quite sure if he wants to do that. So I guess he will simply move 1-2 spaces here. And now we have to make a choice. We can go to the upper room, which is usually the more powerful action, or we can go to the lower room. There are some things that are tied to this. I think getting extra workforce here could be really crucial early in the game. So I think, yeah, he will stay in the top room, so which also means red doesn't get a coin. If blue would have moved down here into the same room, very same room, red would have taken a coin from the bank. In this case, that's not gonna happen. So we have now increased our workforce, which we are going to track on this board here. This now tells us, hey, at the end of this round, we have to pay 1 coin. If we make it here, we get one of our assistants. That's one of those fellas here. And whenever we are getting workforce, we are also increasing our work energy or whatever it is. We are not getting any resources when we are moving up. We only get those resources later during a production step when we are moving down, when we are using it. A great way to getting some extra victory points and or money. In most cases, you really need the money in order to pay your workforce. Okay, that was already the very first action. Yes, I will explain you what those energy or the workforce will be used for, I think, relatively soon. Let's see about that. So it's over to Red now, and she has to make one step. And right now for Red, there is no way that she can ever increase this reach for her. She can decrease, I believe at least, and she can later on with her assistance increase her movement speed if she chooses to do so. By the way, there I'm really playing with a very interesting mixture of components and rules, which is why some of the things I'm explaining you, at least in respect to some of those benefits, may not be 100% accurate. Again, the game is, I would say, 98-99% finished, but right now they are still tweaking some of the symbols, some of the iconography, and some of the explanations, and some of the translations. So bear with me. If I tell something wrong, it's most likely because I didn't really fully understand, even though Attila was extremely helpful as usual, explaining me some of those gaps I didn't get. Back to Red, of course. Red now has to move one space, and here getting 2 extra paper could be beneficial, but on top of that she could also gain some early technology, which could be incredibly valuable too, actually. Yeah, but maybe it's too early, actually. Maybe she should really get some more coins and or some resources here. Doesn't really help her because she cannot activate one of her letters. She doesn't have any letters. So I guess maybe getting some extra paper. Let's move this fella over here into this room. So now we can either decide getting a technology, which we have to pay, or we can get to the bottom room. And I think she wants to go to the bottom room. So again, we get a coin and we get 1 ink. And I really like those drop components here. This really works really nice, looking good. And that's already back to blue. And again, blue needs to move 2 spaces. I was really thinking of maybe moving into a travel action now, just to show you how this goes. And maybe that's what I want to do, because there is definitely a nice little thing waiting for us. It might be too soon, but I'm doing it anyway. So I will move down here. Because I have to move 2 steps, I now have to spend 1 energy on this board here to stop. So I lost 1 energy, which I can't now use for later production. But I think early in the game, that's okay. I don't have that many resources anyway. So that which also means I will basically lay down, and now I'm doing a travel action. So let's move over to this nice map of Europe. I believe that's Mainz. And again, Mainz is not too far from where I live. And now I can move. Overall, I have 2 movement points, and that's pretty much equal to our workforce level. Right now, that's a 2. Again, that equals 2 movement points. So I can now distribute my movement points over movements here on the map and on this turn order track, which also gives me some additional benefits for later on in respect to buying order tiles later on. And I think getting this one here early is easy. So I will spend 1 movement point in order to move to this city. I don't have to pay anything. Every time you see a coin, I usually have to pay something. But in this case, I will end my movement here. So this doesn't cost me a thing. I get this city tile, which I can use pretty much any time. And right now, I don't see a reason not to do it right away, but I will do that in a second. Let's finish this action here first. So now I have to basically build a city or place something in order to show that I visited that city. So I pretty much built something there. So I'm moving back to my factory board here. So I'm taking one of those discs here. I move my director on top of this because I placed a city. That's always nice. So at the end of the game, this will score me 1 point. And on top of this, I get the bonus here that's printed. So in this case, I get 1 more lead. Nicely done. I take this disc and place it here accordingly. Again, other players can go there still. That's not a problem, but only the first one gets the city token or the city tile that was left on it. So next I get to make a choice if I want to get a free trade action or if I want to build a factory. And I think building a factory early in the game is definitely beneficial. So right now I have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. In theory, I can take any level, but right now in order to make the best use out of this, I really should go with a level 1 factory. Of course, I could go for a level 4 factory and flip it face down, and then I could place it on my factory board anywhere. But then I think I'm missing out on some of the opportunities. So I think let's go with level 1 factory. So I take the topmost 3 tiles. And in order to pay for the factory, I have to remove one of my cities and remove it out of the game. So it's really out of the game. I'm not moving my director here. I'm only moving the director and getting the resources when I really travel to a new city and place a city there. But for building a factory, that's pretty much a price. So I really lost one opportunity. So I will never make it to step 21. This is what it means. And you see that you can really score a hell of a lot of points with those. But have a look at the 3 factories I have drawn. This is face down. And I get to choose one of those. This pretty much tells me whenever I move a production tile later on from 3 to 4, I get a coin. Nice, same is true here from 1 to 2, I get a coin. But this is really great early in the game because this allows me whenever I do a reset action, and I will do that at the start of the next round, I get to get a resource. So I think I will grab those. Those simply go back to the bottom of the respective deck. And now I get to choose where to place it. Again, I can place it on the level 1 thing here, or I could take it, put it face down, and yeah, place it basically also on a tile that's higher than that. So for example, I could go on a level 2 tile. I would still get the bonus here, but the factory isn't worth anything. So I think let's not do that. So I guess we have to do this or that because we have to come here from the left if I want to really follow this as a face up approach. So I cannot immediately go here, unfortunately. So I will simply place it here. I get this bonus right away, which gives me 1 power, 1 work power, or one energy. And again, this is now an ongoing effect, which is basically told by this symbol here. Whenever I do a reset, I get 1 ink. Nicely done. So this was not the whole travel action. I still have a second movement point, but as I already stopped on the city, I cannot continue to move. So I will continue to move on this order track and the turn order track here. And moving into the next block makes these order tiles later 1 coin cheaper. So the farther I go, the cheaper those order tiles and contract tiles will be. So this can be extremely useful, especially when money is a little bit tight. Okay, this was the second action for blue. And now it's back to red. And yeah, she can go here, do a typesetting action or activate one of her letters. She doesn't have any letters right now, so there's no point in really going here at all. And I think she has to move down, and here she can make a choice to buy a technology, which could be beneficial actually. Could be beneficial, but it's also not extremely great. But you have to start doing this sooner or later. But getting the 2 paper is also nice. So I think she will really move down here into the bottom room, which again is not the most powerful action, and this simply gives her 2 pieces of paper, which you can use later on for some orders to fulfill. So those were all the actions in our thing. I believe I could still have done this one here, and maybe I should have done that actually, because I know she was going to move, because again, I can do that anytime during my turn, and I guess I missed that now. I think that was very, very stupid, because I know she would either move over here or move down here, so I might have placed one of my assistants here onto the board. And yeah, I forgot that, so I will definitely take care of it during my next round. Next, we will move into the order phase, which means we are buying order tiles and contract tiles. So these are the order tiles, those are the contracts. Normally those cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The farther you are, the more discount you get. So in this case for blue, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, also 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you would have been here, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. You get the idea. Because red is behind, she gets to choose first, although that's definitely a bonus. And she basically has all the resources for all of those. Getting those extra symbols here, the red one, could be beneficial, but this is worth 2 points. But getting this extra one, I think that's could be extremely useful for her, and it's cheaper. So she will now spend one of her 2 coins she has in order to buy this order tile. We place it next to her player board. Right now it's not getting replenished, and on top of that she could still go for a contract. So again, this costs her 1, 2, 3, but I think she doesn't know how many of those 4 technology tiles she gets. So that's pretty much endgame scoring tiles. So in this case, you simply get 2 points for each level 4 technology you have on your player board, and you can double that by placing letters underneath those, which is something I might be able to explain you a little bit later too. But I think for now she's fine, so she will call it. And now it's blue, and for blue really didn't go well. He was really hoping for this tile here too, but I think in this case he will simply also pay 1, because again, he's advanced here, so that's this one here. It's pretty much a virtual coin, so he also has to pay 1 coin, which is fine for him. He will grab this tile here. So in this case he really now needs lead like crazy, but right now he has 1. That's at least something. So let's grab this tile here too, and I guess he will also not go for a contract yet. I mean, those are really, or this is really not bad actually, but early in the game, let's really wait and see what comes out first. And that's pretty much the order phase. We will then reset all the stuff and we are going into production. So now we are going to produce our order tiles here. Sorry for the glare. And they should basically start from here and they follow this production track over here. In order to move the first contract tile onto the first plot, we simply don't have to spend any resources whatsoever. We simply have to spend 1 energy. So we have the energy, so we are moving it down. Now it really matters what symbols you are seeing here. So we are moving it down, which means blue gets an extra coin for that. So that's definitely something. So he has now advanced this tile to the first level. Obviously, we want to make it past 4 in order to score the points that are printed on this tile here. In order to move it further now, we have to check the first stage. Right now it's in the first stage. The colors do match, so usually you get behind those things. So in order to meet this, we have to pay 1 lead. We have that, so we give it back to the reserve. We still have to spend 1 energy. Again, this gives us 1 coin, so that's really a great source of income. And this now allows us to move this one to stage 2. Now, in theory, we could move it to stage 3 because, again, there are no prerequisites in respect to resources, but we are out of energy, so we cannot move any further. Last thing to do, we have to pay our workers. Right now, our workforce is at level 2. We look how many of those symbols we see. In this case, that's 1. So blue has to spend 1 coin. Easy as that. Last thing to do, we are resetting this. It always goes at least to the same level that your workforce is currently on. And then we are moving to the red play. Usually you're really doing this simultaneously, obviously. So let's see about that. We know that red has this tile here. In order to move it here onto the first stage of production, again, we have to spend 1 energy. Unfortunately, then she's out of energy, but she still scored 1 coin for that. So I think she's really playing a longer game. She really has a hell of a lot of resources for later. I think that's okay. You can barely see the ink drop here on my blackish table. And she doesn't have to pay anything because, again, it's always rounded down. So in this case, she doesn't pay workers. She gets her workforce back. And that's pretty much the end of the round. Last thing to do is to check how many of those order and contract tiles have been sold. So in this case, we are removing 2 because none of the players did buy any of those. For those, 2 have been bought, so we are not removing any one of those. So we are simply sliding that down. They are sliding down. We are bringing out 2 more. So this is still level 2. You see that here. Kind of tiles, and we are also bringing out a new contract tiles. And again, I will explain you all those benefits later on when we're actually buying for one. So this one is an easy one. You get 1 victory point for each factory at the end of the game, and again, you can double this usually. Okay, that was pretty much really the end of the round. We are resetting this. Blue stays the starting player for the next round, but again, it moves down. And the real last thing to do, we are standing up all our workers, but they will stay in their respective rooms. So if he was laying down in the top room, he stays in the top room, and the same is true for the other tradesmen up there. So that was pretty much the very first round. If you thought that was a lot, I think that was 30% of the game. There's really so much more to it. Maybe not 30%, but 40 to 50%. Or really, there's a hell lot of more things to keep track of. And I really hope to show you most of this. I also don't know if I will be doing a full playthrough today, but yeah, let's see how things go. Again, we will start with Blue. Because Blue is now only in the top rooms, he can no longer move. You're only allowed to move your tradesmen if they are in the bottom room. So what the only thing that Blue can do right now is to do a reset action. And I think that's what he's going to do, right? Yeah, so we can choose with which of those workers we are going to do the reset. So I think let's go with this one here. So again, we are lying him down just to show that we have used it. As part of the bonus for the reset, we get to choose one of those letters up there. And they come with some bonuses and we can use them. But I think in this case, oh, what am I going to do actually? That's not so easy. It's really not so easy to decide. There are great things down there. And I guess we are going with one of those two. I think we will go with this. And now we can make a choice if we want to simply discard and get the bonus on it. So we could move it out of the game and simply get the coin, or we could simply take it. And I think that's what we are going to do. So we take the tile, we will reveal a new one right away. Well, 2 papers and a B, that can be beneficial. And this tile, this letter now, goes next to our factory board. We have 2 slots, virtual slots for those. So here or there, right now it doesn't really matter where we place them. Later on it could matter. But that was pretty much our reset action, because we have this factory here, which tells us whenever we do a reset, we get this resource here, which means we just scored 1 more of those ink drops. Nicely done. But we are still not done yet with the reset action, because I already told you whenever we are taking, when we can only move our workers if they are on the bottom side. So with the reset, that's exactly what you're doing. You're sliding all your meeples down there and you get the bonuses of the spaces you move them into. That's really great. So in this case, this guy gets 2. That doesn't really matter if he's lying down or not. Here he gets 2 more drops, so that was really nicely done. And then later on, he still has this worker left, and again, he's now in the bottom room. He could move up to 2 spaces somewhere else. Then it's Red. Red has some more choices, because again, she now is basically in both bottom rooms. She can still do a reset action and get the letter from above, but because she's not sliding someone down, she doesn't get those actions. So I think in this case, she's not going to do that. And now she's in a tough spot, is she? Oof, actually, she is in a kind of tough spot. I didn't really think it through straight. So she only has 1 worker, which means the travel action may not be the most powerful things to do for her. So maybe she wants to go in here, and she could go for some very nice trade actions, actually. Maybe that's what we are going to do, right? Yeah. So she will move in here and lie him down. This 2 bags here mean you get 2 trade actions. And for each trade actions, you can either trade 1 resources into 2 other resources. So I could transform 1 lead into 2 ink drops, for example, have to be the same ones. Or I could go for 1 of those trade tiles here. And I think that's what she wants to do, actually. So her first trade, she will do this paper here. So she will spend this paper, and therefore she gets 2 coins. In theory, she could have done the other thing around, so paying 2 coins for 1 paper, but you can only do that once. Really something I just verified. So this is out of the game. We put it here. We will immediately replace it. And that's also nice now. I think that's great, actually. That's pretty solid. So I guess she will take this tile here too. In order to grab, I think she will spend 1 of her lead now, which is this tile here, any 1 resource in order to bump up your workforce by 1. So that's really great. So she will do that. We are revealing a new one. Well, for 1 drop, you can get 1 victory point. But again, let's not forget to give her 1 extra workforce. And whenever your workforce increase, your work power or your energy also goes up simultaneously. Nicely done. I think that was a pretty decent turn or action for her. So I guess it's now time for Blue. And I think Blue wants to move in here, actually, right? He has to move 2 spaces. spaces. Yeah, let's do that. 1 and 2, and you don't spend any money when you're passing over, only really if you're ending up in the very same room. And I think he now wants to go for the typesetting action. Again, we are coming closer to 60 to 70% now. But what this means is you can now take one of your letters you have on the left hand side on your board, and you either can put it underneath one of your contracts. This is the way how you can double those points. So let's say he would have this contract here and he would place this underneath it, so this would double it, so you get now 2 points for each factory, and this could be 2 points. So that's really a great tile for blue actually, but it's also great for red. Having those factories is usually not a bad thing. Or alternatively, and that's the thing that you usually do, you take this letter now and place it onto your composing stick here, and ideally you want to put them onto a space where you have a matching letter. So in this case I have an F and a C, and they come mirrored deliberately, by the way, because this is how you print it, and this is really a lovely detail. I love it. But you could basically put it anywhere, but maybe you don't get then the reward that's underneath. In this case I think we want to place the C onto this C here. So we are getting this action here, which means we are getting a level 2 technology without paying money, without paying any resources whatsoever. And on top of this, when we are finishing this row until the end of the game, this row will give us 5 points, 5 points, 5 points. So, and there are a lot of more things that you can score points. But really getting this extra technology now for free is really huge. So let's check it out. And those are the level 2 technologies. So here I can get a trade action, which can be nice actually. Then here we get some money, could be also nice, and maybe, or here we can use one of our lead letters. So we don't have any letters right now. So I think I'm really tempted between those two, and having money, I think, again, I told you, might not be the worst thing in the world. So I guess, yeah, let's take this tile. We are immediately refreshing it, and I think that's the one I don't understand. So let's remove it. I forgot to ask what it is. So this is the new one here. And we now have to place this technology onto a level 2 space. I cannot place it on the level 1 space. I cannot directly place it on the level 3 space. We have to follow the line here. So I cannot put it like this, for example, because there is no connected line. Unless I'm really willing to put it face down, then I could place it here, but let's not do that. So I can now decide to place it here or there. Here I get a victory point right off the bat, but here I can move one of my contracts 1 space ahead. The problem is the next space costs me nothing. So I think doing this doesn't really help me right now. So I think I will place it like this. For this, I will simply score my very first victory point. I will keep track of it off camera. That's 1 victory point, hooray. And then I'm triggering all those blue tiles that are here in a chain. So the rules talk about a chain reaction. Not sure if that's the right term, but that's what we are doing. Right now, we only have 1 blue tile here in this room, so it doesn't really chain an awful lot, but in this case we are activating this tile, so that's 2 coins. Then we would move in here. If there would be another blue tile with this chain reaction, we would trigger it. And on top of this, if we would have a letter here, we would also trigger the letter, but in this case we are not going to do that. And then I think the last thing to do is we'll flip the city tile here, and this gives us 1 more workforce. We are moving this over because we are now seeing this little question mark to place one of our assistants. Again, I forgot to place it, but we now see that red is doing something. So I guess, what resources do we want actually? We need, we could go for more workforce, but I think getting more resources is beneficial. So I think we will go with this ink assistant, and we place it next to one of those shops here. I think for now I will want to place this one here. First of all, this now allows me to move over it for free if I want to, but I can also count the step. That's really giving me a lot of flexibility. So when I want to move here, I could move now 1, 2, and this would be a free move. So from here, in theory, I could move in there if I want to. And on top of this, if opponent does an action adjacent to one of my assistants, I get the resource that's printed on it. In this case, this could be 1 ink. Can be really, really huge. And I think this is now really the end of the action. That's what this game is all about. You have to fire so many combinations, and to think about this through, it's really amazing. Sometimes, yeah, a turn can take a little bit long, but usually when you know what you're doing, it's not that big of a deal. Now it's red, and I think red really wants to do a travel action now. I think so. And that's what blue anticipated in this case. Of course, she could still move in here, but I think getting a travel action now is something that she really should do. So she will move in here onto this space. Now again, of course, there's an assistant of blue. Blue will get this drop here. Also nicely done. And then she can move again, she can distribute. She has a movement range of 2 because her workforce is 2. And in theory, she could move in one of those cities. She cannot move in here, that's a bummer. Of course, you can always end up here. So let's say you don't want to build a city, but usually it's at least what we found. You try to do that as much as you can. And I think it's either this one or this one. This could give you some end game scoring, because when you get a set of those 3 symbols, so there's a blue one, a white one, and a red one. We don't have red, but she has red on one of her contracts here. You get 5 more points, so that can be beneficial. But here we get 2 extra energy, and maybe that's what she wants to do early in the game, right? Yeah, let's do that. So she will move 1, 2 spaces here. She has to pay a coin now, but this goes to the bank. No big deal. She grabs this one. I think she will fire it up in a second. We will now place one of our discs on top of this. So we are moving the manager, therefore she gets a coin. That's the bonus. And you see all those bonuses that's printed underneath those spaces. That's really helpful and nicely done. And again, she can now decide if she wants to do a trade or if she wants to build a factory. She only traded twice relatively successfully. So I guess she also wants to go for another factory, or she wants to go for a factory, not another. And right now I think she will also go for a level 1 factory. So she will take the topmost tiles, 3 topmost tiles. She has to remove one of her discs, same thing, and then let's have a look at those tiles. So whenever she does a reset action, whenever she gets a letter, she gets a coin. That's nice. And that's the same thing. Oh, those are really all nice, actually. And again, you want these resources here. I think we will go with this one. Yeah, let's do that. So those 2 go back on the bottom of the factory stack, and then she can decide to place it here or there. So let's place it like this. Doesn't really matter. This increases her workforce for this. Easy as that. When she does a reset, she gets a lead. And I think she will now also immediately trigger this city tile here, which gives her 1, 2 more. Those can always be higher than your workforce. That's totally legal. And you're not losing it at the end of the round. Only when you are below this at the end of the round, you basically get it back up to where you are with your workers. Okay, I guess that was also nicely done, actually. And that's the end of the round. So again, we are buying new orders if we wish to do so. So let's see about that. Red is again first, and they're all not great for her, actually. Maybe she's first. I think first of all she wants to secure the factory one. So that's 1, 2 coins. Keep that in mind. So she's paying 2. And blue is really mad at her right now. So right now she cannot use it. There's another mini game. You have to follow it in order to be allowed to activate it. But for now she has it in her reserve. So we place it next to her player board. Again, we are still not at 100% of the game. And then she can still decide if she wants to go for another order tile. And I think, yeah, why not? I mean, this is great, but she doesn't have the money to get it. So I think she will go for this one. So spend another 1 coin for that. And you can do that. You don't have to go with a combination or so. At least that's how I understand it. So we'll grab this tile here. We might be able to use it later. And then it's blue. And yeah, blue now. Here's a level 3 technology. I think he's not too... This is nice, but for 2 money, getting 2 points and 2 things. But again, he has the work power. Maybe he should do that. Yeah, I think why not? Again, at the end of the game, only 5 resources or combinations of 5 resources are victory points. So those are 2/5 of a victory point. And in theory, it could give her 2 points right off the bat. So I think that's still a good return of invest. So he's grabbing this tile and place it next to playboard. I think he's not going to go for one of those contracts here. So I think that's that. Let's do the production real quick.
So for red, it's relatively interesting. So she will spend 1 energy to move this one here over. And because this was level 1, she has to pay 1 paper. Because we moved it here, she gets a victory point. So I will do that off camera. They're both at 1 victory point. The next step is free. We still have to spend the energy though. So she gets a coin for that. Nicely done. For the next stage, she needs 2 lead, but that's not a problem for her. She has the lead. She has to basically spend an energy. She gets another victory point for that. In order to move it down, again, there is no requirement. She simply spends 1 energy. Therefore, she gets another coin, and then she moved it here. So overall, she now scored 3 points with that action. And in theory, she could keep going, and I think that's what she's going to do, right? So she still has this one here. In order to move it up here, she only has to spend the energy. So that's a coin. She still has the ink, but she doesn't have any more resources, any more energy, so she has to stop now. But she still gets the coins, and again on top of this, she managed to get 3 victory points, which isn't bad. Then it's blue, and again for this moving to 3, he only has to spend 1 energy, so he gets a victory point for that. So he's now at 2. In order to move it here, again, he has to spend an energy, so that's a coin. And he has to pay 1 lead. And last but not least, we're doing the same thing again. 1 energy, therefore getting a coin, spending 1 lead in order to move it down. So he also now scored 3 more points. Nicely done. We are resetting. We both have to pay 1 coin. I forgot that with red. I will do that now also off camera. So here's the money from red. And right now, those are the victory points. So it's 4 for blue and 3 for red, if I'm not mistaken. Then we are doing some cleanup. We have to remove 1 of those because, again, we haven't used them all. Those are sliding down. Then we are bringing out some more. So here's another level 2. And here's the first level 3 tile that's coming out. Some more of those contract tiles are up. And then last thing to do is to stand up our workers. Blue is still the starting player. So he now has to do some interesting decision actually, because 1 is below, 1 is on top. So in theory, he may want to move this guy first and then do a reset action, because then he gets something out of this. And I think that's what he's going to do actually. Where are we moving to? We could move in here, getting some trade actions. And getting some trade actions could be actually beneficial, right? We could go for some paper. Maybe that's really what we are going to do, actually. I think that's okay, actually. Yeah, let's do that. So he's moving 1, 2 spaces in here. Because he's now entering the same room, red gets a coin. That's definitely always nice. 2 trade actions. I guess with the first trade action, we are doing the standard trade. And I think I forgot to bring a new tile out. Okay, that's also nice. But again, he's still doing a standard trade, which means he's spending 1 ink in order to grab 2 paper. He really needs the paper. Later on, he still has a second trade action. And I guess he simply wants to give away 1 ink for 1 victory point up here. So this goes out. We are bringing out a new tile. That's the same thing with lead. Nicely done. And those were his 2 trade actions actually. And then it's red. And the only thing to do for her is to reset. The question is, who does she want to reset? I guess she wants to reset this guy here. Again, because she has this factory. This gives her an immediate lead. I think she might be able to use it actually. I think that's okay. We get a letter and interesting. I think right now she wants to go with a D. So she will grab this letter. She will take it, so she will not discard it. She will really take it and put it next to her player board here. We are immediately revealing a new one. And on top of this, we are now moving all those dudes down here. So those are 2 ink, and here she gets 2 extra workforce. Again, having this workforce can be very, very nice when you want to produce stuff. I think you saw that earlier when she had really a hell of a lot of those. And I guess that was her reset action. I believe I didn't forget anything for her, at least I hope. Again, there's a lot going on in this one. That's the main reason I'm not doing a 3-player game. Usually I would do a 3-player game because to really show a little bit more interaction, but in this game that's really brutal. Playing this on your own is already tough enough. Playing for 2, 3 or 4, it's really, wow. Not a nightmare, but it's really tough to manage. I will definitely forget stuff, believe me. And then it's Blue, and again, Blue can only do a reset action because he cannot move him out. So again, he's laying this guy down. We get a letter, and I guess we go with, I don't know, 1A, for example. Let's go with this one, simple as that. He will take it, so he will place it next to his player board here. And let's put it on top of this like this. A new one, and then again those guys will slide down, so he will also get 2 extra power and will get a lead, always nice, and a coin. Blue is really doing good in respect to resources, actually. I like that. I really like that. Okie dokie, last action for red already. Again, this phase is usually, of course, when you are really chaining a lot of things, then this can take some time. But again, she could now decide to move, for example, here to another travel action, or she could go for a technology now, and maybe that's what she wants to do actually, huh? Getting technologies out is usually not a bad thing to do, usually to really try to get them as cheap as possible, or she could go for a that's interesting. I think she will go for a typesetting action instead. Yeah, I think let's do that. So she will move up here. So she's now doing the typesetting action. So she has a letter, which is this one up here. Usually really want to have some letters here in order to power up your production. But right now production is not that, I think that's okay. So I guess she will use this letter now and place it either here or there. Here she gets an order for free. Really for free, not spending any money. And this can be really brutal. So I think that's what she's going to do. She does it right away. So she places this one here. Again, it matches. So we get this thing. Again, this means we get an order. And the coin means we don't need to pay for it. So I think she wants to go for a high one, a very high one here, a level 3. Or maybe one where she gets a bonus here. That's also nice. Interesting. I mean, that's 3 points. And this symbol, this could help her with a set. No, I think she will go with this one for now. So she will grab it. A new tile is coming out immediately. So this can also speed up the game. Keep in mind, this is the timer. When there are no more tiles here, then we have pretty much ended the game. So this goes in here or next to a playboard. We must not forget that it's there. And that was her typesetting action already. I think that's already the end of the action phase. So yeah, we can pretty much stay here. So we are buying new tiles. And yes, she will definitely go for yet another tile here. So she will spend 1 coin for this one here because this is a set. So if she produces basically this, and she already has this red one here, that's 5 more points at the end of the game. So that's really huge. On top of that, she could still go for this one here, and she has this. I mean, this works well for her. This could be 2 points or 4 points if she doubles it. So I think yes, she will try it. Yeah, why not? So she will spend a coin in order to grab this bonus tile here too. Of course, she still has to place those sooner or later, but for now that's okay. Next it's Blue, and he still has a tile waiting there, but I think you really need to have those tiles. Yeah, let's do that. So he will spend, yeah, why not? Simply 2 coins in order to grab this here. Keep in mind, 1 and 2, even if it's empty, it's still the same price. And does she wants to go for those? Right now he has 1 city tile. This gives him 1 point for every 2 city tiles. Nah, I think he's fine. He's not going to chase that. That's okay. And again, we are producing. Let's start with red again. So she spends 1 energy, getting 1 coin and spending 1 of those in order to move it over. And usually what we do, we place the resources on top of it so we don't forget that we have it. But in this case, we have spent it. Then we are doing the same thing again. Red's getting a victory point, moving to 4. She still has to spend yet another resource of this. That's fine, but that's a victory point. This one is free, but still has to spend 1 energy. So that's some coins, always helpful. And then, yeah, she definitely has this. Again, that's another coin. Nicely done. She spends her last drop. And we are moving this one out. And total, again, she just scored 3 more points. 1 for this and 2 for this. Nicely done. Then it's blue again. I think we want to start, does it matter? I think we want to start with this one. Again, moving it up here only costs an energy. That gives him a point. So they're both now at 6. In order to move it here, he spends an energy, gets a coin, and needs to spend a paper. Then we are moving it from 2 to 3. This is 2 drops. We have to spend 1 energy. That's another point for him. And we have spent the drops. Next one is simply 1 energy. That's a coin. And the last one is an energy, also a coin. And we have to spend a paper. Not a problem for him. So he's also in total scored 2 points out of this. So overall, they're really doing relatively well, I would say. We still have to pay coins. I already did that off camera for red. This is for blue. We are resetting the energy. We are cleaning up here. This goes out. They slide down again. Only if none, let's say no player buys a tile this round in this order phase, then we are removing 2. And 1 player only buys a tile, then we are removing still 1. So always every round 2 tiles will be removed again. That's a timer, so we have to keep the game moving. Okay, that's 4 points. That's definitely something. Another 4-pointer. Nicely done. Okay, for every 5 coins, you get an extra point. That's on top of the things you get for your resources. Obviously, that can be nice if you really have a strong money machine in your factory, but that's okay. And then I guess that's pretty much it, right? We are standing everyone up. And again, blue is still the starting player. Okay, I think blue now wants to move. I think he wants a technology. Yeah, let's go for it. He has to move 2, but he will stop here. So this means he has to spend 1 energy for that. That's what it is. Now we are going to buy 1 tile, 1 technology. Yeah, let's go for it. And I guess we are going with a level 2 technology, right? Yeah, that's the idea. So in order to buy a level 2 technology, we definitely have to spend 2 coins. And then we are checking which tile. And I think we want this tile here. On top of this, he has to spend 1 paper. So that's how this grid actually works. So we are getting this, we are automatically renewing 1. Okay, that's cool. We get a letter. This is really a nice one. So let's place this technology into our firm. So I think we want to place it here. So that's legal because that's a line, a contiguous line. That's fine. We get the bonus, so we can place an assistant right away. I will do that in a second. But first of all, we are triggering again this whole thing. We would start here. This gives us 2 steps of movement. So basically a travel action with 2 steps, and we can fully use it. On top of this, we are triggering this again. All those things will now kick in again. So that's 2 more coins we're getting. So we got the money right back. Then we are moving back here. Factory doesn't give us anything right now. And we are moving here. This gives us 1 lead. Nicely done. That's cool. That's really, really cool. So first of all, let's place this assistant here first because that's the quick one. And I have a feeling sooner or later we want to go in here. So I think I will place this tile here, which gives us 1 work power. If someone is using it for now, that's all it does. We can still use this technology here, which is 2 movement steps. And the tile tells us it's for free. So there's this little coin that's crossed out. So we get 2 movement, and I think let's move in 1, 2 spaces here. We grab this tile, and I think right now there's not a reason to power it up right away. So that's 3 coins we're getting for this. That's definitely nice. And we can still place a city tile here, but we do not get this one here because it was not a proper travel action. That's definitely one of those exceptions. But let's still place the tile like this. And we can also move our director. So it's now worth 2 points and we get an additional paper. Again, a nice chain of events that Blue did there. Nicely done. I think she has to move in here, unfortunately. So she will get a coin and she will get an ink. I think that's really a bummer. It's really, but she could go for a trade action though. No, she will go with the ink right now. It's really not going too well for her, I must confess. That's already the end of her action. Again, playing this for 2 is pretty tough. And then it's the second action for Blue already. Has to move 2 spaces. Maybe we want to move in here. Or we could go for another typesetting action. I think that's what we are going to do, right? Yes. So he's moving 1, 2 spaces here in order to trigger a typesetting action. He has a letter and I may have forgotten to give her or him the special thing here. If I did, I apologize. That's wasn't intended. This will keep going. So we will take this and now it's an A and an A. So I think again we want to complete this row for 5 points. Doesn't really matter. Here we can do a free travel action. 3 spaces. I think this is huge. I think that's what we are going to do actually. So we are placing this here. We are triggering the free travel action. Doesn't cost us a thing. Our movement is 3, right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So let's end on this space. I think that's definitely something. We are grabbing this tile. We can use it later on for us to score some points. So I think that's definitely beneficial. That's a set, keep that in mind, or that can be part of a set. We are placing another disc on top of this. Now it's a proper travel action. We still get to do the trade or the factory, but let's not forget to move our director. This gives us 1 energy. And now again, we can choose to do a trade. Do we want to do a trade actually? Or do we want to place a factory? A factory could be really nice actually. Yeah, so we will spend another of those things. I think, yeah, level 3 factory was the plan. So 1, 2, 3. Whenever we get a city tile, I believe we get 1 resource. That can be nice. It's really nice actually, but we have already moved a lot. This, whenever we get a letter, we get energy, and whenever we move off 3, we get a trade action. This can be nice, really. Having those trade actions, getting resources can be really powerful. Actually, I think I will go with this one. So they will go in any order I choose to the bottom, but I really do not care about that too much. So we are placing this factory on level 3 space. So that's simple. We are moving this up. This moves up 2. Now we have to spend 2 coins at the end of each round, but we also have 4 workers. I mean, that's still something. And again, this gives us an awful lot of energy, and we must not forget this special ability here. Okay, that was Blue. Yeah, and for Red, this was extremely stupid, actually. Yeah, I'm really playing very poorly for her. Apologies for that. So she has to make a reset, which means we get the letter. Oh no, that's okay. We get the letter now. That was the idea. No, I think that was okay. So we lay him down, we get the letter now for the reset, and we also get 1 lead because of our factory we have. We get a letter, and I guess, ooh, that's interesting. What do we need? I think I want this B or this E. No, let's go with the E here first, or AE here first. We are placing it here, so we really want to hold on to this. We bring out a new one, AF. Then we are sliding this guy down, and we can now activate one of our tiles. We have 1 tile, so which means we get 1 ink. That's okay. Unfortunately, we are not moving this guy here down, so we don't get the resources here too. That was definitely somewhat of a poor planning, but I will take it anyway. Those were already all of our shop actions this round. But one thing I forgot, or nearly forgot, is this is now important for Blue. I forgot to mention it. He has now unlocked this space here. So he can now start placing those contract tiles. You see those little green things here, which means this corresponds to your composing stick board. So those tiles are adjacent, which means we can now later on place one of those contract tiles on top of this. So then we can finally score it. Before you have done this, you cannot do this. So that's really, really key to imagine. In order to unlock this, you need basically those in a row. If you basically do one here, you have both of those unlocked. So they don't need to be exclusive. Here we need pretty much this pattern here, and here we need this pattern. So those are really somewhat crazy to achieve actually. But that's something that's important now for blue. But red is first. When it comes down to take an order tile, she already has 2 order tiles in her stock. So I think she'd rather not. She also has 2 contracts. So I guess she's passing actually. You don't get anything for passing other than, yeah, you're passing. Then it's blue. Blue still has 1. What does blue want actually? He has this one. He has another white one. Yeah, I think he will go for the cheaper one here. Why not? I mean, having 2 tiles is okay. If you don't bring them onto your production line, they will basically cost you points at the end of the game, but usually that's not a big of a deal. So he will definitely spend 1 coin to get this one. And now he has to make a choice if he wants to go for one of those. And he already has basically 2 level 2 technologies. So getting this might be beneficial for him actually. So yes, he will definitely spend 2 more coins in order to grab this contact. And he can place it later on during his next shop action phase in order to achieve this. Okay, then we are producing. And this time red doesn't have an awful lot of work power, but I think she will go for it anyway, right? Yeah. So she will spend 1 in order to bring this one up here. This gives her a coin. That's at least something. Then she spends another work energy to get another coin. She has to spend 1 ink and 1 lead in order to move it over here. And that's it. In theory, she still has the resource, but she's out of work power. So she cannot continue doing this. So she has to spend 1 coin. This will reset it. Then it's blue. He definitely has some energy. So he will, I think he has to, does it? Yeah, I think he can do that. So he will start here. So this gives him 1 coin. He spends another one. This gives him a point, bringing him up to 10 already. That's nice. But he has to spend 1 paper in order to move it over here. Now he's out of paper, so he cannot do that. But he still has 1 more energy, so he can bring this one out here too. And therefore he gets another coin. And right now that's stuck, so he cannot overtake a tile, and there cannot be multiple tiles on the same slot. So he has to start moving this first before he can continue to move this one ahead as well. But overall, that's okay. He has to spend 2 coins now, because again, we are seeing 2 of those. And then we are resetting, and that's pretty much the end of the round. I'm doing the reset now off camera, and then we are jumping into the next round. Blue has to do a reset action, and he's really managing this quite well, actually being at the right spot when you're doing these resets. You really want to be on resource basis in order to maximize the output. But where does he want to start? Where he wants to go down next? So he's not going to do that. I think he wants to go here with the reset action. He's definitely going for, oh, wait a second. Maybe not, because he could go for a typesetting action. And in theory, no. He will do that down here, actually. So this will trigger the reset. He will definitely take a letter. It doesn't really matter which one. He will go, it needs an A, that's for sure. Bring out a new one right off the bat. We will place it next to his player board. So we are not discarding it. Sometimes you want to do that, but sometimes you don't. I guess then, something I keep forgetting, you can flip those tiles over. So I will tap those. And this is something that's, I think, a little bit confusing, or there's a disconnect between the rules, the new rules, and my components. I think you can basically spend 1 of those symbols, not just 2. The board tells you 2, basically like this, but the rules tell 1, in order to up your workforce. And again, we can place one of our assistants here. And I think we need paper, so I want to place the paper resource. Yeah, I think let's place it over here real quick. And then that was pretty much the reset and the letter. We are still moving those guys down. So 2 paper. Wow, that's really huge actually. 2 paper, 1 lead. and 1 coin. Nicely done. Yeah, blue somehow is doing something right. Nicely done. And then it's actually red. And I guess I think she has to do that now. So she will move in here in order to up her workforce, and she will also unlock a thing because she moved in here. Blue now gets 1 extra workforce, but she can also now place 1 of her dudes. And I guess, what does she need actually? I think she wants to go with her steely one, and I guess she wants to place it here into the central area for now. I think that's okay. She will place her assistant there, but that's already her action. And then it's blue. I think blue. Does he want to go for a typesetting action right off the bat? Why not? Let's do that. Yeah, 1 and 2. So he will do this. And this also means, oh yeah, of course, red now gets lead because she has an assistant next to that space. Nicely done. So he was taking this letter here, flip it to the other side. We will still do something else in a second. So first of all, we will cover this one here down, which gives him a free movement. Oh no, it's not a free movement. You still have to pay the resources. Oh, that's not so powerful actually. Yeah, there's there's this resource is crossed out. No, of course you get it for free. So he will place it like this. This gives him now 5 points at the end of the game. This is huge. And again, he will move this one over for free. I think that was the idea. Because he has unlocked this space here on his composing stick board, he is allowed to place this tile on top of this. And we get the bonus! What do you think about that? So this goes in here, this goes up. It really still goes up, even if it was already above it. When you gain one thing, you also gain one here. So that's really crucial to keep in mind. At least that's how I understood it. And again, this scores him 1 point for every level 2 technology at the end of the game. That is still visible, obviously. And that's blue's action. Red, I think, really wants to do a travel action. Now, I think she's now also in a much better spot. So if she resets, she really gets something out of this too. She now has 3 steps to spend. So the question is, does she want to go to another location? Or, I mean, this is a level 1 technology basically in action. Or does she want to go only 2 spaces, for example, and maybe move up the turn order track simply to be the first player for once, just getting more movement points out of this. This can be crucial at times, but getting those city tiles out is also crucial. So I think no, she will move 1, 2, 3 spaces here. She has to spend 2 monies to do that. She will grab this one here so she can go for a level 1 technology. She still have to pay for that. Unfortunately, that's not a freebie, but it's a free action. She gets 1 of her discs on top of this, which means her director moves, and she gets a resource of her choosing. And I guess she needs, what does she need actually? She needs everything, right? So she has this for later. I think she will go for another drop. Yeah, let's go for that. And now again, she can build a factory or can trade. But I guess now it can be crucial to build a factory, right? And she wants a level 2 factory. Yeah, let's go with a level 2 factory. So we are grabbing those 3 tiles and we can get a production step for free. That's crucial. I already placed the tiles on it, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, that's nice. So when she does a reset, which she will do, she will get another thing actually. Basically another workforce. I think these are all the same. So I think, yeah, let's go for this factory. Those go back. And again, she can now also produce 1 step for free. So we get this coin back. We are moving this one over. So we really saved some resource. So we might have enough actually. Oh no, that's wrong. I already paid this. Oh, did I do that incorrectly? I think this was already here. So we are spending not this one here. So I think this is okay. I really hope I didn't mess this up right now. But that's, I think, how it should be right now. Okay, this was her factory. She still has to remove a disc for that, but that's okay. We take it. And then it's really the end of the action phase. So again, red can choose, but wow, she still has an awful lot of things out there actually. Does she want some more resources? She has basically, yeah, the blue one could be okay. I think she wants to go with another blue one because this could give her a technology. Yeah, she will spend a coin to basically grab this here, but she has to still build it. I think she will not go for one of those contracts. Then it's blue. Blue also still has stuff actually. And what does he want? I mean, these are 4 points, but costs him 2 coins. And he needs those resources like crazy. I think, that's tough. No, he wants to wait. I think he wants to wait. So we are removing some more tiles here too. And then we are producing again. And again, I really hope I haven't messed this one up. So she's spending 1 energy for 1 point to move in there. So let's mark it down accordingly. And then she's spending another energy. Oops. And therefore she gets a coin. And she spends this to move this tile over, which gives her 3 more points. So she's also at 10. That's at least something. She still has 1 more energy. What does she want to move? I think she wants to move this one over. Yeah, that's important, I guess, for 1 more energy. And then she's out of energy. Unfortunately, she's spending a coin for her workforce. This goes back to 3, and that's her production. Let's see about blue. Moving this here costs him an energy, and this gives him 2 points. I mean, that's really huge getting there. Then he basically does this, as he has to spend a paper, and then he spends this and gets a coin, and therefore he gets 2 more points. Wow, he's really doing great. And then the problem is, again, he doesn't have any ink, so he cannot move this is really a total waste. That's really bad. So he still has to spend 3 coins for that. 1, 2, 3. That's really a lot, but he couldn't really use a lot of those things. So he really has to start getting some more resources relatively soon. And I think that's that. We are again doing the reset in a second, and then we are moving into the next round. Okay, and really quick, those are the last order tiles of the game. But again, we have to really remove them all, and only this will then trigger the end of the game. So it's definitely at least 2 more rounds or so, but I think at some point in time the game can really move relatively quickly. Blue is still the starting player, and I guess he really wants to build this technology here because there's a really tasty tile out there. Yeah, let's go for it. So he will go in here because he has to move 2. He needs to spend 1 workforce. And now you don't get the money, by the way. Or not workforce, you spend the energy. So we are laying him down, and I guess he will... Oh, that's tricky now. I think it should still be okay. It will be awfully expensive though, but he will do it anyway. So I guess we are seeing the very first level for technology in the game. It's not triggering anything. Well, that's kind of a bummer, but that's what it is. So we are spending 4 coins and 1 lead in order to grab this one here. And we can place it here or there. This gives us a free contract, but this gives us a free letter, and I think that's what we want, right? Yeah, let's go for it. So we'll place it here. We get the free letter right off the bat, and I guess we want to go with this one. Yeah, let's grab this one. Let's place it here. That's nice. And then this is something that we score immediately. So we check the current workforce rating, which is a 6. So that's 6 points for blue. That's insane. He's really doing exceptionally well. And I guess that was, and this is, by the way, the new tile that came up. So you get a point for each assistant out there, which is also 3 for blue. Again, this really can score you a hell of a lot of points. Yeah, that's that. Okay, that was his action. For red, it's simple. We only need to see what we are going to lay down. So we are doing a reset, and I think we want to lay this guy here down. Now I'm really not sure if this reset also gives you basically those resources here. Let me check that real quick. And I believe not. It really says when you end your movement in a spore or a shop next to that. So I think that's okay. Red is getting another letter for that. And we also get another lead because of our factory. And we have just built a second factory. So this increases our capacity. It is, by the way. It's not energy, exhaustion or whatever. It's capacity. I also just noticed that in the rules. But again, not a big deal. And then, yeah, which letter to go for? And I guess we need the B. Yeah, let's go with the B. And this is now the first time we are having two letters. So let's say Red would get a third letter. Then she would have to choose to place this third letter on top of one of those. So basically you really only have two stacks. And you only, when you removing it, then the letter below gets available again. So, okay, we have to place a new letter out there. That's a B and a C. Yeah, that was the type, not the type, the reset action. But of course, we have to move those guys down. So that's 2 more coins for red. And here we get 2 more ink. I think that might come in handy sooner or later. Okay, nicely done. And then it's already the last action for blue. There's really not an awful lot of choice, so we have to lay him down. We get another letter now. And now I'm really thinking, do we need something really bad? I guess not. So maybe going with a B here. Yeah, let's get it. Let's bring out a new letter. And that's a B and an F. Okay, then we are moving those guys down. So we start here, or we can choose which to start, doesn't really matter. We can activate one of our letters. In this case, it doesn't really matter. It's either a lead or a lead. So we grab a lead, but that's okay. Anyway, we take it. And down here, we get a coin. We really need the coin. And we are getting 1 extra ink. Then it's red, who still has a turn left. And I believe we want to travel again. I think this could make sense. Yeah, let's go for it. So she will move down here. She still has 3 movement points. This time, I believe we only need to spend 2 of those on the actual map. But not forget, blue gets another ink. Those assistants can be really powerful. So we have 3 movement points. So we're moving 1, 2 spaces here. We have to spend a coin for this travel action here. So we can take this. And I guess there's not a reason not to use it right away, actually. What do we need? Do we need something? Let's wait about this for a second. Let's not do that right away. So we will spend a disc. Moving the director, we are getting 1 more capacity. Now I know what it is. Apologies for all the stupid things I said. And then again, we can choose to go for a factory or a trade. Yeah, there could be nice trades out there, but that's the wrong kind of trade. I don't have the right resources with me, so I guess we need, I think let's build another factory, which means we have to ditch yet another disc. And Attila, the designer, keeps telling me that those are crazy important. I'm pretty sure I'm playing this really not ideal. So we're going with the level, oh, we could go for level 2 actually and place another resistance out on the board. Maybe that's also not too terrible. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go for a level 2 instead. So we are grabbing 1, 2, 3 of those. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, every technology costs us 1 less. And I think this might come in handy right away. Yeah, we will go for this for sure. So those go back to the bottom of their respective stack. And again, I could go in here for another assistant or could go victory point. I think let's go for the extra assistant for now. Yeah, let's do that. And I really don't know, actually. I think we want paper already out, right? No, it's not. Here's paper. Yeah, let's place it like this, the assistant here. And I believe this was now kind of our factory action. We still have one more movement point left though. That's really something that you have to keep track of. And yes, we will spend this extra step to move one space over here. So those orders get cheaper, and we might be, or red might be, starting player for the first time in the game. How nice is that? And then I think, oh no, we could still go for this factory, and maybe that's what she wants to do, right? Yes, absolutely, let's do that. So she will cash in this one. This can give her one level 1 factory. Again, I believe the way how this is written, you still have to pay for it, although it's not a freebie. The thing is, yeah, she only has this resource here, so she has to spend the ink, she will spend a coin, and she will go for this technology. But that's still okay. Let's go for it. We'll bring out a new one right away. That's also a very nice one, actually. And I believe what this means is we simply get one of those resources. I think we will place it here, so this will increase my capacity by 2. I think that's never a bad thing. We get 1 lead and 1 coin for that. It's pretty nice too. Then we are following this along. Unfortunately, there are no other bluish kind of things, but we still get one of those. And I guess there's no reason not to go for 2 paper, because 2 paper is better than, on the other hand, no, let's go for the 2 paper. I think that's okay. And I believe those were now really, I think we still have this one though, but I want to hold on to this because there is still something down here. So we need 2 more, and yeah, I think that's fine. Let's go for it. And this was really the end of the action phase. Wow, a lot going on. And now blue can decide first. Right now, I think there's no reason not to go for this one here. So, he only has 1 coin now, and he needs 3. Does he get the coins? This will be close, I guess. 1, 2, 3. I don't know actually, but let's see about that. I think we still want this final one here though. So let's pay the coin. Yeah, he's really not good on money now. He was much better, so he will still buy this. And I think he cannot go for another of those, which is kind of a bummer because he would be able to do that relatively quickly or easily. And then it's red, and she still has this one. Does she really want to go for another tile now? I mean, she has the money, but these are really awfully expensive. This doesn't give her anything. No, I mean, she should go for 1 more, I guess. There's still a chance she might be able to do that, actually. Yeah, why not? She will go for this. This will cost her still 1 because she gets the discount here. And that's that. I think, yeah, let's go for it. That's fine. I think that's fine. Again, she's also not going for one of those contracts here. Let's produce. So let's see. She spends 1 ink and 1 energy. This gives her 2 victory points. Nicely done. Cool stuff. Then she will spend 2 of those and gets a coin. Also nicely done. Yeah, where was the paper? I didn't place it right. So, but we have paper now. That's not a problem. So she gets another victory point. So she's now at 13, if I see that correctly. And this goes in here. Again, I'm hoping really I'm not messing this up. Then she moves it down 1 more. She gets another coin. And this ink is gone, and this gives her another 3 points. 1, 2, 3, at 16 points. Nicely done. She still has energy left, and she still has tokens left. Problem is what does she want to do actually? I think she wants to move this here. I think this has been spent. I mean, the first one is always free, keep that in mind, but she still needs to spend the energy or the capacity. That's okay, and yeah, she doesn't have the 2 paper now to move it further, but that's still pretty okay actually. Now she has 2 of those symbols which she can use later on to get a free technology down here. Awesome. I think that worked out pretty well for her. I think I might be in trouble now with blue, but let's see about that. So we are spending 1 energy or 1 capacity and a point, and spend this ink to move this one here, right? Yes. Then he's getting a coin. and spending those 2 resources to move this one over here. But that's it. He only has 1 coin. That's really, really, really bad. Yeah, I think he's now losing stuff. I was not really thinking this through straight. Yeah, that's a problem. He will still spend 1. Yeah, he will still spend 1 more energy for more victory point. I was really hoping for some coins. Oh, he can still do that actually, at least once. So I think that's maybe not too bad. So he can spend yet another and place it here. So we're moving this over, and now we are lacking 1, unfortunately. That's a bummer. We have 2 energy. By the way, I also had to spend 1 coin for red, but really not forgetting this, guys. And he has to spend 3. All right, 3. Yeah. Problem is he only has 2 now. Okay, that's kind of a bummer. And for every mark you cannot pay, we are losing 1 space here, which is actually pretty okay. Now the next step is pretty much free. So we would also lose 1 energy or 1 capacity for that. But as we are resetting now anyway at the end of the round, this doesn't really change a thing. Okay, I will now do the reset. Red will be first at the next round. That's something. And for red, it's quite simple. She definitely wants. He can now move 2 spaces. That's really something. So she will move over 1, 2 spaces in here. Right, and she will go with a typesetting action. And the idea is still, interesting. The idea is still to get this row for free, full pretty much. And I think this might be the best thing to do first. We can do them anywhere. So I guess we will take the B and place it here. So we are getting 2 trade actions. I mean, that's pretty something. So I will definitely use 1 trade action to exchange this lead into 2 paper. That's a generic trade action, which you can always do in this game. Before she does her next trade action, I think she wants to get rid of those. So she's now spending 1 coin. Really something that I'm not doing that often. This is something I don't know. I think this is wrong. I think this was 1 too much, right? It was. Sorry for that, guys. There should be only 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, for 1 coin, we can move 1 thing forward. I mean, that's amazing. So yes, for a second trade, we will spend the coin in order to grab this trade tile. And again, this lets me produce without spending resources. So I can put those things on top of this one here. Oh, wow, that's really nice, actually. Cool stuff, really cool. And that was her typesetting action already. Ooh, that's now a tough one, actually. Blue definitely needs money and resources. And they're both far away. On the other hand, he needs 1 paper. I think he could go in here because, again, he can use his assistant to move 1 step further. I think that's what he wants to do, right? In order to get the paper and the money. Yeah, let's do that. 1 and 2 going here, grabbing a paper and getting 1 mark, actually. I think that was okay. And then it's red. She will simply lie down, getting a letter for that yet again. And she will go with the A. Yes, she will go with the A. She will place it here. She needs it as a plan. And we'll put this next to there. Okay, that was the letter. Then we are sliding down. I believe I also don't get the money here. So 1 paper. And 1 more mark. And here we are getting a lead and yet another mark too. I think that was okay. We might be able to do something with that. Cool. Nicely done. And then it's a blue again. Last action. Does he want more money? Or does he might go for trade action now, actually. So he has this. He needs this, actually. 2 trade actions. I think he really needs money. So So yeah, that's really lame actually. So he's moving in here. He was doing so well and now I'm really sucking. Okay, but that's that. So he will grab 2 more marks for that, and that's the end of the round. And okay, one thing I really forgot with the red play, and I will do that now, because again, you can do that after your turn. So red is now spending or flipping. She keeps those. We are flipping those, 2 of those bluish symbol, and this gives you any 1 technology for free. These are 2 points, but she cannot place a level 4 technology legally. So I think let's not do that. Ah, yeah, she wants a level 3 technology actually, so she could go for another typesetting action. I think that's what she wants to do, right? It's kind of a waste though, but that's okay. I guess I will take it anyway. So she will grab this technology. Again, it gets, oh wow, 3 coins. That's something for blue actually. So we are placing this here actually. We can get a new technology, a new order, but she already has so many. This would end the game actually, so I'm not sure if she should do that or if she should do this, because then she could trigger at least this 2 and she gets an extra. Right, let's do that. So she will place it here, so this gives her 1 workforce. Again, she has to pay more, but that's okay, she's doing good money-wise. And now she can take a typesetting action. Oh, that's a nice chain of events now. So she will definitely place this tile in here, and this gives her a free level 1 technology. So that's definitely helpful. And she will also score 5 points in the end of the game. And she has unlocked pretty much this thing here. I think she will do that right away. She has, I think she will go for this technology, so which means she simply gets 1 more workforce, and she can place yet another assistant. How nice is that? So she will go for this assistant and she will place it, I don't know, somewhere here on the board. Wow, again, a nice chain of events, and we still get the level 1 technology. So I guess getting this, yeah, why not? Let's reveal a new one. Oops, that's face up. Sorry for that. Doesn't really change things too much anyway. And here I'm not 100% sure about the order of things. So in theory, I did this and then this should have happened first, but I'm not sure if you're now interrupting everything. Again, with this interrupt, I place this one here. I really don't know, actually. I really don't know. I think, to play it fair, I think let's do the chain of event here first. So she gets another thing and another lead and another coin. For that, then we're moving down. She gets 2 more lead. I think that's definitely helpful. We can use those for trades perfectly. Then we have done this, and then we are placing this. This gives us 1 paper and yet another coin and 2 more lead. Again, we are triggering this again. Whenever we are doing this, we are getting this bonus. So she's now really doing relatively good in respect to those. And now I think that's really that, if I recall that correctly. Oh yeah, that was definitely something. Nicely done. And I'm sorry that I pretty much interrupted everything. But that was already the end of the production phase. I mean action phase. And we are getting to buy stuff. I guess blue is not really interested in buying stuff, because this will be the last round next, and maybe he should really go for 1 more of those contract tiles. Actually, this could be beneficial, but then again, he might be out of money actually. And there's nothing, yeah, this one could be okay, but that's 3 coins and then he's losing again. No, I think he's not doing this. No, he's not. Maybe for the last round or so we are doing this. And then it's red. She also still has this tile here. She still has those things. She still has 1 of those, so I guess, I mean, the B could be okay, but she will, she could do it actually. Maybe, if it really go, let's try that. She has the money. So she will spend 1 coin in order to grab this tile here too. Maybe she gets something out of this. And now we are moving into the production phase. And please don't ask me why I always start with red. So for this step, we are spending 1. We are getting 1 victory point. And, oh no, this was No, this was this. This was right. So we're moving out of 2. We get a victory point for that. Nicely done. Then we spend 1 lead, moving it here, and we're getting a coin. Again, she's doing okay. She's doing the same thing for another victory point. Nicely done. And she has to spend a lead. And wow, this gives her 4 more points. And no, it was a victory point. Right, 4 more points for this tile. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now she's even in the lead. That's insane. And she still has energy to go. So I think, why not? Let's put this one in here for 1 more energy. And yeah, this gives her 1 more coin, but that's that. And then she spends 2 coins for her wages, salaries, whatever. And I guess that's it, right? I mean, we still have this one. Let's not forget that, but it doesn't help us. We needed 2. So I think let's hold on to this anyway. So we are resetting this. Then we are moving over here. So we are spending 1 energy to move this one over. This gives blue a victory point. They're now tied again. Then he's spending only the energy, getting some more, 1 more coin, and 3 more victory points for that. 1, 2, 3. Nicely done, blue. And I guess, yeah, here we need 1 more steel, or lead, which we don't have. That's kind of a bummer. But that's what it is. Yeah, we pays 2 coins, so at least he's not losing anymore. We are resetting this. And then we are basically moving into the last round of the game, I guess. As no one bought any of those contracts, we removed 2 of those, so that's the last one. And again, if this goes, and it will go by the end of the round, either one of the player gets it or it gets discarded automatically. This will then really trigger the end of the game. So this is the final round. And red is still the starting player. And that's interesting. She definitely wants the ink. So she will move 1, 2 spaces here, lying down, getting the ink she needs for one of her contracts. I think that's okay. Nicely done. Then it's blue, and they all can move. I think that was okay. And oh, I see that now. Blue also gets 1 ink too because of that assistant here. It's really, like, I can really help you. Okay, blue I think needs lead, right? I think he really wants to finish that last contract. Not ideal, but I think he's going to anyway. So he moves 1, 2 spaces. He can do that because of his assistant. Keep that in mind. Red doesn't get anything. That's already beneficial for blue. So he grabs 2 of those lead. I think that's that. I think he doesn't have any extra action. On the other hand, I think I may have forgotten this one. I think I could still flip it to get an extra workforce, but then we have to pay. No, let's not do that. Let's hold on to that. That's still fine. I think that's fine. And then it's the last action for red already. Do we want to move, or do we want to do another typesetting action? This could be the thing to do. 1, 2, it's a typesetting action, gives us an A. We could go, yeah, I think let's try that. So we are moving 1, 2 spaces in here. So that's definitely good for blue. It gets 1 paper and also 1 extra capacity for this. I mean, that was definitely helpful. And with a typesetting action, I guess we go for this one because this will unlock yet another space. We could do the same thing here and go for this thing, for example. Oh, this gives us both, actually. This gives us both, right? Because it's this one and it's this one. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, I think we have to do it here. Problem is, oh, we don't have the right letter. Do I really care about the bonus? In theory, placing those 2 is still beneficial. No, let's do that. And then I can also show you that it's possible. So I can place this tile here. We are not triggering the bonus now because we don't have the right thing to place here, but that's okay. We don't need the bonus action, I guess. And now we have basically unlocked both of those. Again, this is this here, so I will place this one here. This gives us 2 bumps there. Definitely helpful. And we have unlocked this one. And this gives us yet 1 more of those things. So I guess let's simply go with this. I think it's a little bit higher, but I think this is because it's a prototype. And yeah, let's simply place it somewhere on the board. Doesn't really matter too much. And yeah, I think that was the typesetting action, right? This worked out pretty okay. We have placed 2 of those contracts, so they will all score us something at the end of this game. So I think that's really not terrible at all. And let's simply also trade in this tile for, I guess, 1, does it matter? 1 ink. I think it doesn't really matter, but we will trade it in anyway. And then it's the last action for blue. Maybe blue wants to travel. I think that's still beneficial, right? Yeah, let's do that. I think that's okay. So we are moving down here. We're getting a travel action. He is at 5 movement. Where do I want to go? I only have 2 money, so I think I only want to move in here actually, right? I could move up here because those movements don't cost us anything because we have cities adjacent to that. So do I need the D? But the D doesn't give me anything either actually. So yeah, I think, yeah, let's simply go with, I think let's place it 1, 2. We're taking this. I'm not sure if we're using it or not. We are placing this tile there, which means we are moving our director over. And we can activate one of our things, which simply gives us 1 more lead. And then again, we can go for a trade, which could help us. Or we could, I think we have to spend the money. No, it's only 1 money actually, because there was only 1 space in between. And then, interesting. Factory, maybe a factory. What does a factory bring us actually? So we could go for this. I'm not sure if I could go backtrack here actually, so I think I have to go for the level 4 factory here, which gives us a contract for free. I think that's, we could take it away from anyone. Let's go for it. Absolutely. Let's go with the level 4 factory. So let's take the 3 topmost tiles. That's a point where I think that's no brainer. We will take this because this gives us a point when we are moving away from 2. And we are also getting the last contract without paying for it. So that's nice. So we do know that they're not doing anything. We still have 3 more steps. And just to make it cheaper, why not? 1, 2, 3. Red can choose first. That's definitely something to consider, but that's okay-ish, I guess. Okay, I think those were all of our actions, actually. We haven't really done anything else. No, we are now really moving into this order step or contract step. Red gets to choose first. I think she cannot unlock anything, so she's not spending any money. And yeah, in theory, she could take something away from blue. And I guess, blue is also not interested in that because, yeah, he has the money, but he doesn't have the slot. He didn't get the typesetting action. Oh, that's so terrible. He basically wanted to go for this one here, for example. Yeah, I think that was pretty stupid, actually. So I think he's also not spending any money on this. So we are going straight into production. Now we are here at blue, so we can start with him, or might as well start with him. In theory, we still have this level 2 factory action here. The problem is we don't have the money to use it, so that was also very ineffective. Again, don't look at me for any strategic help on this game. It's really something. Okay, we are moving. We are spending 2 and 1 coin. That's definitely something, and moving it over here. Because of this factory, we are just gained 1 more victory point for that. Nicely done. Then we are getting 1 more victory point here and spending the paper and moving it over. And then we are spending the last one here and getting yet another coin. And in total, we just scored 4 more points. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blue. And because we don't want to lose any money, any victory points, we will still move it over here. Again, every tile that's here still gives us 1 point. Everything that's not yet in production will cost us 4 points, or in this case 4 points. So we have to spend this. This gives us yet another victory point. I mean, I take it. But the problem is we cannot move it any further, I believe, right? No, I think not actually. And that's that. So again, it will still score us 1 point at the end of the game. So I think that was still worth it. But then it's red. So we are producing here for 2 ink, and yeah, this gives us 2 points for that step. That was definitely something. Here we are getting a coin, and I nearly forgot to pay for the workforce, but blue is fine. Getting a coin and moving this one over to 3. And we are doing this, getting yet another victory point. Then we are moving this one over for a coin and this one. Right, yeah, that's the case. And then 1 more victory point to move this one here for another 2 victory points. I take that. And in theory, I could trigger this for another workforce, but it doesn't really help me. So red is now spending 2 coins. The same is true for blue. He had the money, so also spending it. And now we can still do stuff here, placing these tiles or unlock or whatever it is. But I think there's really nothing we can do because we haven't unlocked any of those spaces. In theory, I could now overbuild something if I feel I get more points out of this. But I believe I'm okay the way it is. Let's do the final scoring. So we check any of those combinations. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 1 combo. That's 5 points for red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now in the lead with 34 points. I will show you the final results. I think that's the only one. That's the same. We don't have any more white or thing, though that's okay. But that's 5 points. I think I take it. And blue doesn't have this. That's definitely kind of a bummer. All unfinished contracts will score as a point. That's 1 point for blue. So that's this one here taken care of, at least something. Then we are basically doing the composing sticks. So we are both getting 5 points because we both have a row completed. So that's easy. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Was it here? I think they were both here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't really matter because it's a wash in the end. Then we are doing the directors. Here we see blue with 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas red only gets 3 points. And here I really wasn't doing really well. So we usually should really try getting somewhere here. But yeah, that's me playing again. Don't learn from me. We are doing the active contract. So that's 1 point for each level 2 technology. That's 2 more points for blue. And that's the problem now for blue because he didn't really get the contract tiles out there, unfortunately. So here it's really crazy for red. So 2 points for every of those symbols. That's 1, 2, 3, 6 more points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Insane. That was this tile here taken care of. Then we are looking for factories. That's 1 point for factory. That's 3 more points. 1, 2, 3. She's at 51. And then she gets 1 point for each B. Right now she only has 1 B on her board, which means she gets yet another point. And now I know why this space was free. I moved it aside to show you the victory points early on, so apologies for that again. And then we get 1 point for each 5 resources, including money. Problem is blue only has 4. This is not a point. Red has 5 money alone. And she has 5 resources alone and then some leftovers. So she gets 2 more points for that. And that's pretty much the end result. 54 points to 45. So it's definitely nearby. I'm pretty sure I was not doing exceptionally well in respect to points. But again, playing 2 players at the same time is kind of challenging. But overall, that's how you play Impression. Again, I might have made some minor goofs or errors in this playthrough because, again, some of the components, or at least the iconography, is not exactly the same as in the rules. It's a prototype, so a lot of things will change. Personally, I think it already looks kind of nice. Of course, yeah, the component quality will definitely increase with a typical A-games game. Overall, it's really fun to play. It's a very complex little game, actually, but you get behind it. It's like a Fister game, and you start reading and see, oh gosh, how are you going to manage it? But then you start playing and things really will start making sense. Some minor things could still change throughout the campaign, but I believe the game is really close to completion. And again, I really enjoyed playing it. I played it against a couple of times in the past, and with couple I don't mean 2. It's really the more German couple, which is a few, let's put it like this. And we are still enjoying this game. It's about to start on Kickstarter. Maybe it already is live when you see this video. And yeah, you will definitely find a link to the campaign in the description of this video. As usual, a huge shout out to all of my patrons out there. Really appreciate your support. Like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing here. Everything helps. And yeah, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.